right, welcome to Primos for Life, the wrestling podcast made for the fans, by the fans. And as always, I am Eddie, El Niño Baque. We got Ariel, the Ecuadorian Dream Bisuela, and we are your self-proclaimed, undisputed, co-host tag team champions of the world. And in tonight's episode, we jump into what possibly could be considered one of the greatest Royal Rumbles of our time. So, without further ado, let's get it on. Ooh, primo. Oh, my goodness.
What's going on, man? How are you? After this fantastic Rumble event.
I mean, is there any what's the point of even talking, bro? It was just fantastic.
This was definitely well done and definitely kind of out of nowhere for the men's and like by the book on other parts and stuff like that. It was great. It was absolutely fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed this live event. Thoroughly.
The best thing that I could say right now before we even go into details is the real champion here is Triple H.
He's doing an amazing job. He's doing an absolute amazing job. This whole Triple H era Netflix, this whole thing since he's taken over has just been so well done, and every story is just great and ties in, and he is definitely a winner in this situation here. I agree with you 150,000%. Like what he's doing is amazing.
Absolutely. So, real side note, right? So, I was at a friend's birthday party, dinner, so to speak, and
how was dinner?
Oh, it was fantastic. And
Nice.
shout outs to Jackie and Nelson. Jackie, happy birthday. Hibachi and sushi was fantastic.
Ooh, hibachi and sushi. That sounds delicious.
Yeah. And it was fantastic. And they were good sports. And I let them know that I had to, leave early for a prior engagement. And I was able to catch a good amount of the women's at the restaurant on my phone, like the women's Rumble. And I was able to catch the tag match on my drive back. So I'm gonna let you drive those two first, and then we could definitely get into the the championship ladder match, which was phenomenal.
That was great. That was
yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. And then obviously the cherry on top, which was the 30-man Royal Rumble at the end, which was,
man, talk about fantastic, spectacular. So many different adjectives that you could use to describe just how wonderful this Royal Rumble match actually was. It was so just well done, like kiss to the chef, like chef's kiss, like
yeah,
like nailed it.
Yeah, don't kiss Triple H, just thank him.
So hey, I do what I want. As per our last episode, when you and I were discussing where do we think PLE starts with, they did go with the women's Royal Rumble. As I said, probably to do that just to separate the rumbleness of everything. So they did lead there.
Yeah.
Your first two were Io Sky and Liv Morgan, which I thought were good because both of these can run a long while. So I thought that was great. Then we had some NXT love. I think like 5 total NXT. As you and I think we went like 2 or 3, whatever. I was right. They did break out a legend. Not only did they break out one legend, they dusted off 2. So
right.
Pat on back right there for me. Because
in my notes, to be fair, I did put in there good call, Ariel, on Trish Stratus and Nikki Bella, because I think in the last episode you were like, oh, I don't know what Trish is up to these days, but it's just clearly she's at the Rumble, so
somewhere around there. So the women's Rumble I think was well done. There was about 12 people. There was like 12 people in there before they had their first elimination, so I think that was nice. They gave everyone spots. In terms of the early people, Roxanne Perez was in there number 3 from NXT. She was fantastic. Bianca Belair got in at 10. And then where are we? Jordan Grace comes in at 19, which was good. Jordan Grace was getting in was that was because I know we were both excited to see her. Number 21, the returning Alexa Bliss, which I thought was absolutely fantastic. In terms of breaking into people. Then at 25, we had the legend Trish Stratus. 27, Charlotte Flair. And then 30 again, the legend of Nikki Bella. So a couple of points during the match the final 4 here was Nikki Bella, Roxanne Perez, Nia Jax, and Charlotte. Now, you and I both picked Charlotte as our overall winner here. We both were right there. You and I both had Nia Jax and Charlotte in our final 4. But we were wrong with the other 2 as Roxanne Perez and Nikki Bella were there. Big pyro for Charlotte when she came out.
So I'm glad you caught that. I made a note of that, and I was like, oh, she's gonna win.
Yeah. I saw the pyro, and I was like, ooh. And then I think like McAfee said it or something, or maybe Wade Barrett was like, pyro during a rumble, and I was like, yeah, man, like I was supposed to do the same thing. I was like, all right, me and this dude thinking the same thing. Okay, cool. Like, all right, makes sense. Jordan Grace had a Death Valley driver on Piper Niven. That was fantastic. I noted that down. I was like, what a DVD by Jordan Grace. Like, a hell of a move. Of course, Alexa Bliss returns. I think, like I said, this match was well done. Surprised to see Nikki Bella in there and for her to make the final 4, but I believe she was like the first one out. And then it was Nia Jax, and it came down to Roxanne Perez and Charlotte. So overall, good match. I was very happy with the pace of it. I thought they got to showcase some of them. They did. I was not a big fan of Nia Jax eliminating like 5 people in one move, in one fell swoop. When of those 5 people, you have Io Sky, Bianca Belair, Naomi, and like 2 other like decent people. I'm like, you're gonna clear 5 of them out like this? Like, only downside I saw. But other than that, I thought a very well done women's Rumble match. Very engaging, entertaining opening match. Personally, and I watched everything, like I said, because that was starting. Being that the live event started at 6, I knew I'd be able to get that match down, and then I had to get my son to bed. So then I got him to bed, and I was able to continue with everything else. But that was well done, good timing, great storytelling. I was a fan of the match, like I said, front to back. So I mean, if you can just let me know, I mean, what did you catch that you in the limited frame you were able to see? What did you notice?
So what I was able to catch was, so I was able to, actually start watching at the restaurant on my phone, and I did make some little notes there. So like, again, the announcer, I don't know what it is. I don't know if she was nervous, but I don't know if you caught that. She said Stephanie McMahon weird. She was like, "Stop funny McMahon," and I was like, "Oh,
I did not."
Well, because I had the AirPod like stuck in in my ear while I was listening to while I was watching, and I was like, "Oh no, like she's nervous." But cool intro in the beginning. I think the biggest thing that stood out to me about the women's rumble is like all WWE talent, right? Like there was no need to bring anybody from TNA because it was well rounded from all the ladies from SmackDown, Raw, NXT. And like you said, if you are going to bring out legends, you probably brought back like 2 of the best ones. I mean, the only other one that would have been good would have been Lita. Right, exactly. So the fact that you picked the best divas to come out was not divas, I'm sorry, legends,
right,
was fantastic. And here's the other thing that really stood out to me. I don't know, maybe this stood out to you too, in the sense of like, overall good match, like you said, but the fact that it was well managed during the whole wrestling match. Like there was not a dull moment. There,
Right.
everybody was fighting. People were down. There were plenty of spots. Like it finally, like this is what the first women's Royal Rumble should have looked like.
Right.
But I get it. It was the first one, and now we have so many
And you gotta
years.
work at the kinks.
Right, right, right. But I think ultimately, like what people have envisioned on the first women's Rumble, it was this. This was the product of that, and
Yeah.
it almost makes you feel proud of the women's division. So on how far they've come, you know what I mean, in the sense
Yeah.
of like showmanship and presentation, like that could, if it wasn't for the intense storytelling in the men's Rumble, that female Rumble could have been the main event as well. That's
Oh,
how good it
absolutely.
was.
Absolutely. I would not, like you said, the storytelling in the men's was so great. Um, but had this women's rumble gone on against most other rumbles, I probably would have been like, you know what, I'm fine with this as a main event because I thought they did a great job. Great job with
Yeah,
storytelling, pacing, everything like that. Everything just kind of worked, and I was not left, bored. Looking at the clock. Like, oh, bring in the next entry. Like, no, 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 no. Like, everything was good. Like the way they paced it out, the way they, gave everyone their time to get their moves in, and everything was good. No, so I was very, very happy with the with that match as to start the night off.
yeah, yeah. I definitely liked everybody's spots. I loved the little bit of time that they gave Sonya's what's it called? Not
The
clique.
faction, the collection, the collective,
Right. I
the
like how they gave him a little bit of time.
pure fusion collection or whatever. Or,
Right, right. And what I liked about that was, this is a new story and this is a new thing. So now you're giving them the ability to kind of showcase why they're a thing.
right,
And then you got, former winners, former champions kind of just like duking it out. And it felt real. It felt like
right.
it could have been anyone's, but circling back to the pyro for Charlotte, like you said, she was the only one that got it. So as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, she's definitely gonna win. I literally wrote that in my notes. She's gonna win.
Yeah, the pyro was there. I was like, yep, yeah, there you go. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
Wonderful. Yeah.
but fantastic. Let's rate it like 1 to 10. You go ahead.
9.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm thinking 8.5, but I'm like, you know what? I really can't complain about with the maybe 8.5 because of the Nia Jax 5-person elimination spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just because once again you eliminated heavy hitters, and you could have done that in a much cooler fashion. Even if you gave Nia Jax all those eliminations, even if you give her all those eliminations, I think you could have done that in a better fashion. So 8.5, 9. I'd like to. I mean, that was a good match. It was a very good match. So I'm gonna go 9. I'm gonna go 9. I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna say, fine. Nia Jax is the irresistible force. I get it. Sure. But 9. So yeah, I personally, so what about you?
Yeah, no, I was leaning more towards 9, and to keep it at 9, because the beautiful thing about this now is that everything matters, everything counts, right?
Right.
So if you really look back at, Royal Rumble history, you'll see that Nia Jax got embarrassed when she did go into the men's rumble and she got like RKO'd and like super kicked and this and that.
You're right.
So in a way, she kind of got her licks back in her like in the women's rumble
Yeah. Yeah.
by being that. So if you tie the story that way together, I'm okay with the 9. Yes, I think it's an overall 9.
I think the 9 is, and like I said, I thought it was absolutely very great, great, great run
Yeah,
for
fantastic.
the women. Yep.
Yes, yes. All right. And then obviously our picks was correct. Charlotte Flair, awesome. So we're 1 for 1 right now, 1 and 1 each of us. Um, and the next match was for the tag team belts for DIY versus Motor City Machine Guns. Go ahead.
This was pretty good because before the whole thing starts, they cut to the back and the machine guns are talking to the Garzas and Santos and Madrina. And Santos is like, you guys have to have each other's backs. Don't worry about these two. And then the machine gun's like, hey, we'll have your backs. Oh, wait, no, that was on SmackDown. Sorry.
Mhm,
It
mhm.
was on SmackDown. So,
Yeah.
so the thing is, they were the reason I talk about this is because their DIY got into with Pretty Deadly, who I said was going to be interfering possibly in this match. And I say that because I got it wrong, right. And I will get back to that at the end. So to start the match off, Motor City Machine Guns and DIY come out. First pinfall goes to DIY after a very shrewd move, which I don't know if you caught.
Yeah, by Ciampa?
Yeah. So Ciampa goes for the tag and goes to slap down. Gargano looks like he's going for the tag, but purposely misses him so that the tag never comes in. Alex Shelley thinks the tag was made, so he goes after Gargano, kicks him in the face, and then turns around and walks into a flying knee by Ciampa. And because the pin was never live, bang, DIY gets the first fall. Great piece of storytelling. I saw it. I was like, great. They missed the tag. They faked it out. Great job. Then Motor City Machine Guns win the second one after a good contested match. Fantastic. With whatever that move is where Shelley comes off the top rope, Saban's got him kind of in a almost like a scorpion death drop kind of a position with his chest exposed. So he comes out with the hammer on.
And then, I think they call it the skull and bone.
Skull and bones. Skull and bones. Very thank you. Mm-hmm. I lost that one. And then the end comes when the Street Profits.
The Street
Profits come out and interfere in the match, as I thought Pretty Deadly was going to, which I loved because I'm a fan of the Street Profits. As per our Who Did It Best Frog Splash edition, that I am a Montez Ford dude. So DIY retains, and now we'll start a program with the returning Street Profits. Hopefully they will do this right and give the Street Profits some love and bring them back to some level of prominence so that you can start moving them in their solo careers, as now you've seen with Kofi Kingston, with tonight's main event Rumble winner, that these tag teams, you can get your stars, your main event guys coming up from these tag teams, and I think Montez Ford is that. So yeah, that's that. Sorry, big loop around. Sorry.
No. It's funny that you point that out, because I just happened to be listening to Undertaker's podcast the other day, and he had Devon Dudley on there as a guest. And one of the questions was like, what are tag teams missing today that, the generation of old, what did they have that the new tag teams don't have? And what Devon said was very true, was like a true partnership. Like the Hardys were brothers. Edge and Christian, came in together. They worked together the whole time.
Right.
And, the Dudleys, they've been together since ECW. So it's like the issue that most tag teams are having, or were having, is that they would just slap two people together, right, and they were like, all right, let's make this work.
Yeah.
But now you're coming together with or coming up with these teams, especially from NXT, like DIY and things like that, where, and obviously the Profits too, right? The Profits are from NXT, and they have all these longevity with each other, that you're going to create incredible stories. They're going to become memorable. And then eventually you could make the opportunity for, the split up, or somewhere down the line for like that solo push, the same way Edge and Christian got on their own, Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy got on their own, and then obviously the Dudley brothers, not so much, the Dudley boys rather, not so much, but then, Bully Ray did eventually become like a solo star in TNA and other, and Ring of Honor and all these other things. So I it's funny that you made that comment, because that's exactly what I circled into. And I love the fact, first of all, that match, the tag match was fantastic. Everybody, the timing, the move sets, everything was great. I loved that it was the Street Profits as well that came in, because now they have like this heel like thing going on now. And now I'm more excited to see, like, no more red solo cups. Now let's get to that Thug Life tag team.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, kind of what Lashley was trying to do with them.
Yes, right.
Like I think they need to put that to the nth degree, however they want to do it. I mean, you see, because it was Lashley, them, and B-Fab, and now B-Fab's rolling with Meechin now and stuff like that. So I think it's good to kind of separate them in their own. But yes, I think you're 100% correct. I like what they're doing now with this kind of heelish thing that they can push them on.
Yeah, yeah, huge fan. I loved it. I loved it. Now, what do you rate the overall performance in the match?
I love the first fall. And I said, wow, that was kind of quick. And I'm like, it's a 3-fall match, so they got to kind of get that going. But I love the genius aspect of the, fake tag not made.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Second one was a well fought match. And then the Motor City Machine Guns came out with the win. And then once again, you got to tell a good story. So on the third and set everything up. So I'm gonna go 8. I'm gonna go 8. The match was good. I think the way that the whole package, I think, was better because, like I said,
Yeah,
fun up front, good match in the middle, set up a storyline in the third. So the match, if it was just a match, I'd probably go 7.75. Both these teams are capable of having better matches, and especially with each other. But I think they had 2 of 3 had to get through some stuff, and they were like, okay, we still need time. We still, we used an hour and a half for the women's rumble. We're going to need an hour and a half and 2 hours for the men's rumble because it's at least 60 minutes to get everybody into the ring. So I think they kind of did that. So I'm gonna go solid 8.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I'll give them the extra 0.5. I'll make my score 8.5, simply for the fact of the way that you summarized it. They were able to tell an incredible story in 3 acts, right?
Right.
The malicious, heelish tricks of DIY by getting a cheap win, but
Cheap win. That was an intelligent win. That was very
well,
brainy.
right, right. But what was good about that is that you have to also remember this isn't like an Iron Man match where they have all the time in the world. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they had to figure out a way to get like a quick pin in there
Mm-hmm.
without beating up to a pulp kind of situation. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like, how do we get the first win in there quickly? And I think that's the best way to do that.
Right. Which is what I said. Like I thought that when I was like, oh, this is kind of quick. And I'm like, wait, 3 falls. You need a quick one.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I think you said it perfectly. The second go around at that point was like an actual match, and then they're tied at that point, and then after the win, and actually the way, if you look at it, the way they did the win was good because now you don't make Motor City Machine Guns look weak. They got interfered, like they got somebody hit them with the crutch. You know what I mean? It was Dawkins, right?
Exactly.
Like, and now you have a potential to make it like a triple threat tag match at WrestleMania if all 3 of them are involved. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's going to be a good story no matter which way it goes at this point.
You have options. You have options also. You've given yourself a
Yep.
couple outs.
Yeah, exactly. So 8-5 is my score.
Yeah, solid. Not mad at it at all.
Yeah. Okay. So the next match obviously is for the undisputed world heavyweight or undisputed WWE championship. Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens ladder match.
Oh wait, I picked DIY
Yes,
in the
I picked.
things, and you went machine guns. So
I did.
I'm up 2-0.
Yeah,
2-1.
yeah.
2-1.
This is where age and wisdom comes over beauty. You know what I mean?
Right,
So,
right. But wouldn't that be a paradox? Because I can't come over myself. Oh.
But yes, you're up right now. So awesome.
It tastes like vinegar coming out of your mouth, doesn't it?
All right, man. So Cody and Kevin.
Wow.
Yes. Wow.
Spot fest. So many spots with ladders.
I've never been so nervous. Like, that match was wild, especially in one of the hits that Cody took where he just fell like a ton of bricks. I really thought he was like injured. They did such a good job.
Ladder match.
It was fantastic.
Every spot or bump with the ladder, because I mean, we've seen how terrible that can go in terms of
Yes.
a ladder slipping and someone falling and dislocating a knee, something like that. What was his name for WWE? Joey Mercury, when a ladder came
Oh
up and
yeah.
sliced his face where he needed like
Yeah.
staples because he was cut so
Yeah.
bad. You've seen these things go completely in the worst possible way. So when you see him, you're just always nervous. I think that adds to the allure of the match, is the kind of looking between your fingers kind of viewing. But yeah, what a match, and just some great spots, and a lot of parts where I was like, yeah, he's not getting up. No, he can't. He's like, at one point, Kevin Owens got flipped on, and like that point of the top of the ladder, you saw hit him in like the mid of the back, where I'm like,
Yep.
oh, just looking at that makes me think I'm never gonna be able to walk again. Like, I can't even imagine what this poor man is going through. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, I agree. It was intense, and I, like you said, every spot with involving a ladder was just brutal. And obviously later on in the match, Sami Zayn comes out, and I popped for that, and only because I really thought that was going to be the swerve, right? Like I
Right.
not the Rumble winner swerve, but I really thought that was going to be the swerve. Like, no way, is Sammy really going to do this? Is Sammy really going to help Kevin and just throw a wrench in WrestleMania plans, the way that we spoke about it in the last episode, and what other fans online and on Twitter or X or whatever have been saying? And it's like,
Right.
wow. But oh, man, but Cody gets up and takes Kevin Owens on the table and puts him through that other ladder that's on the ring and the table.
Oh.
And I thought Kevin truly broke his neck at that point. Mm-hmm.
It's like, no. Is that when they brought everyone out to check on everybody? They were like, okay, wait a second. Everybody hit the ring and let's make sure everybody's okay. Like,
yeah, shout outs to Jason Jordan.
I told you, man, getting screen time. Him and Jamie Noble, the kings of screen time in their suits. It's amazing.
I love it.
But no, great match. A great match. Great story told. They did each other in. Also, I think good genius idea, of course, of having it prior to the men's Royal Rumble, so that who your options are, the winner's options are going into WrestleMania.
Yes.
To be like, okay, he's gonna face either Gunther or Cody, not Gunther or the winner of Cody, this guy, which we'll find out at the end of the match. Like, so I think that was a great spot there too, just to kind of like lock that in, and then especially with what happened in the final Rumble, which we keep alluding to, but I think that definitely needed to be the main event. There's no way that could have not have been. So
yeah, no, man. It was spectacular. I think at this point of the Rumble, now that I'm I made it to my house and watched it, from the comfort of my living room. Even at the restaurant, everything that I've seen up to this point has just been so engaging. They've done such an incredible job to make you not want to miss a single thing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like,
they did a great job. They've done a great job.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's fantastic.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go on and give this match a 9.
Yeah.
I'm giving this a 9.
Yeah.
This was a hell of a match. This was one hell of a match, and I'm giving it a 9 because it was well deserved. Both these guys showed up and showed out tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. And part of me really did want Sammy to truly help him and interfere and have Kevin win. I really wanted that.
Yeah, I thought there was going to be more with the Sami Zayn aspect at some point tonight, because you had a couple spots where you could have done something and they didn't. So, but as we will find out in a few seconds, why there was nothing done.
Yes, and then also we were both correct on this one. We both said Cody would retain.
Mm-hmm.
So you are what, 3-0, and I am.
I'm up 3-2.
3-2.
Yeah, because you've gotten 2 of 3 right, and I've gotten 3 of 3 right.
That's what I'm saying. Right,
Yeah,
right,
I'm up
3.
three
But I'm
two.
saying 3-0 meaning like
Oh
you
yeah,
3 right, but 0
3,
wrong.
yeah, 3-0
Yeah,
against
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Against the card, I'm 3-0. Yep.
And I'm 2-1, right?
Yep.
I'm 2-1, you're 3-0.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Cool, 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 cool.
Yep.
All right. Well, now the filet mignon, the creme de la creme, the
Man.
2025 Men's Royal Rumble.
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
Brother, when I tell you that I have fallen in love with wrestling all over again, it's fantastic. And then I'll even throw this out there, right? Best believe that the road to WrestleMania truly started tonight, and I will not be watching any other programming but WWE from this point on. So don't even bother asking me on what happened on Dynamite. Don't ask me what happened in TNA. Don't ask me unless I see something online or somebody shows me something. I will be glued to what's it called, to Monday
Yeah.
nights. I'll even start watching NXT and SmackDown, brother,
Yeah,
because I don't want to miss a thing.
they've done kudos once again, as you said, to Triple H for all this program that he's running and everything. It's been amazing, and this is just the culmination of so many different things and angles and just routes he could have taken. And surprised that he took this one because I did not see it coming. And as we said, we both would have loved to see it. I was like, but I just don't think it's time yet, and it is. So without any further ado, I'll let you lead this one out, man, because
Yeah.
go because please, let's go.
Here's what I got.
Yeah.
These are the notes that I wrote.
Okay.
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 Great way to start the Royal Rumble with Rey Mysterio as number 1 and Penta
Yep.
as number 2.
I thought that when Ray came out one, I'm like, oh man, they're gonna have Ray come in. Well, he's probably do some more Iron Man stuff. And then I'm sitting there, I'm like, wait a second, because thinking of the Charlotte Flair thing, I'm like, they want to probably showcase Penta, and this would be a hell of a way to do it. And then sure enough,
Yes.
Penta in that too.
Yes. So fantastic way to start the Rumble. There was an incident where Penta absolutely touched the floor.
I looked at it and it was 1 foot.
Oh, okay.
I thought so too. The right foot definitely hit. I know that for a fact. I know the right,
But
and I'm a Penta guy. Like, and if
yeah,
you hit
and the
both
other
feet,
foot
I would
hit.
have said the right foot definitely hit. But I was sitting there and I was like, I don't think I think he got that left one up like just at the last second if he did. But like, because I looked and I was like, I'm not gonna rewind it. I can go back and look. But I thought that too, and I was like, I think only 1 foot hit. But I was also surprised because if they went back and looked at it, because they immediately the refs outside were like 1, 1, 1. If they went back and looked at it, I was surprised that they didn't show the replay that it was only 1 foot.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, I can't guarantee it. But for me, it looked like it was only 1 in the quick view
Right.
that I saw.
And I think that's the reason why they didn't show the replay, because had they shown it, it probably would
They
have
would have
seen
said
shown
that
us two
it
two
was
feet.
both, right?
But what I found hysterical, two obviously, I mentioned it before. I'm a huge soccer fan. 2 soccer references in this match. One, Pat McAfee is like VAR, which is in soccer is the virtual assistant referee.
Referee, right?
Right. And that's when they do the replay and they show you whether it is or isn't. So shout outs to Pat McAfee for being a soccer fan
Okay.
and making that
For
reference.
knowing the VAR.
Hysterical. I popped for that. And then this one happened way later on when Damian Priest came out. I just since we're on the topic, Michael Cole did mention that there was a transfer window, like a transfer period that they did.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
may have gotten mentioned
Yeah.
in one of the shows, but I guess we just missed it, or they just didn't make a big deal about it. You know what I mean?
Possibly.
Yeah.
But yeah, he said something about during the transfer portal time frame or whatever it
Yeah.
was. He said, yeah, he did say something along those lines. Yes.
Yeah. Then as the Rumble progressed, Santo Escobar comes out, says he's 6 foot tall. He's 6'1". Bro, come on.
Oh, man.
Okay. What I was gonna say was that's the one thing I loved about the Rumble this time around. The information like banner at the bottom of the TV showing you who's active, who got
Actives,
eliminated.
eliminations, numbers they came in. Cha 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 cha. Yeah, we should have mentioned that with the women's rumble. That I thought that was really, really also a great because they even Cole or somebody said like, "Well, if you have any questions, Pat, just look at the bottom of the screen on the cool new ticker." Like,
Yeah, yeah,
no, that
yeah,
was very, very well done. No, that was great.
yeah.
You know what I was going to say was because you had brought up Santos Escobar. I was going to say that right there was my happiest point in the rumble. Was these first five because you had Mysterio, Penta, Chad Gable, Carmelo Hayes, and then Santos Escobar. You had five
Mhm.
guys who could do everything. And I think the
Yeah.
first few minutes of this Rumble, I was like when it was Ray and Penta, I was on my feet already because it was Penta and it's Ray, and and then the first five guys, I was like, oh, this is fantastic. I'm like, man, they're wasting all this talent early. What are they going to do? And then I'm like, well, they have a lot of back end talent, so yes, they have to give these guys their showcase. So they're going to give it to them early. So yes, going into you saying Santos, I remember sitting there thinking to myself, wow, at number 5, I am very happy with this Rumble so far.
Yeah, yeah, I could agree with that. And I thought the same thing too. And then also on top of that, Carmelo Hayes, I just really don't like him. And either he must be doing a really good job because I don't like him at all.
I love
Don't like
Carmelo Hayes. I think he's great. I'm a fan of Carmelo Hayes. I'm a big Hayes guy. I hope he's doing his job well for you. Then I hope that's what it is. Then because he's solid.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So Santo Escobar is not 6'1". Okay, so that was hysterical to me. I am truly a Braun Breaker fan because when he came out the gate hot
Yeah,
with the Frankensteiner and the spears. Oh, it was
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
Um, and then by this point, we have gotten to like what number 7 or number 8
Well,
when
seven is breaker.
Tazawa.
7 is breaker. Well, hang on before you do that because I did take a note at 6.
Okay.
Because I just thought funny because I was just funny notes of the McAfee and Cole. Um, Otis is trying to do his worm. Gable grabs him, puts him in the ankle lock, and McAfee just screams, "He didn't want to see Otis's worm." And Cole just lost it, and I was like, "Okay, that's funny." Like I just like it was like just the way he screamed it, and Cole just started laughing. Like so, sorry. So then, yes,
No, no, no.
and then Breaker comes in at 7, like a bat out of hell, and did it. And then yes, and then we get to Akira Tozawa. Yeah. I was wondering what was gonna happen here. I was like, what is going on here? Although it's nice to see that your boy Carmelo Hayes can completely destroy somebody with just one forearm from behind. Like so much so that
But
they can't compete in the Royal Rumble.
but I think the thing that aggravates me about that is like that's just been his shtick for like the last 2 weeks. Is like he just looks at you, hits you from behind. He did it to Jey Uso. He did it to he did it to someone else too, right? And it's like this is what you do now. You're just like that
Yeah,
punk that jumps people.
that's right. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Nah, I don't like him.
Hey, I mean, that's that. Then, like I said, then he's doing his job right.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
kid, he's very talented. Very. I think you're gonna at some point you're gonna do like it's like when I break on Braun Breaker because once again this performance by Breaker gave me. I was like, okay, I'm
yeah,
getting there. Like I'm getting there.
yeah.
Like so,
Oh yeah.
hell of a Rumble performance by Breaker. So absolutely, but yeah. So then the Tozawa he goes down, and then Triple H and I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, now what do we do? Like, are we rushing
Hmm.
somebody out there, or are we just skipping the 8th entrance and then they bring Tozawa back in at like 27 and then like just toss him out 5 seconds later? And then they bring out what was his name? Freaking Need for Speed or whatever.
Yeah, I Speedy.
I Speedy Gonzalez or whatever this guy's name. And he's like, oh, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. And then he's flying out.
So so what I wrote here was awesome.
Sorry. This guy, man.
No.
Because me and you both were like, well, no legends or no this or that. Like there shouldn't be any kind of gimmicky shtick or nothing like that. And then at number 8, I just wrote speed with a question mark. Like, come the hell on, man. Like I wrote Akira Tozawa / speed question mark. Like I just couldn't. I couldn't. I'm sorry, I couldn't. But okay, sorry.
No, you're good. I was okay with it because once he was out there, and then once Braun Breaker started gaining speed, dude, he ate that spear, bro.
Yeah.
Like if you watch the replay, his head just bounces off the mat, and it's just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, he took a thrashing there. He took the hardcore thrashing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I wrote that in my notes. Wow, he ate that spear. And then I wrote after that, why they do him like that?
Speed, man. I can't go in. Okay. Hunter, speed, you're in. Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. And then I mean, after that, I mainly paid attention to number 15 at that point. So before we get to 15, please fill in the blanks there.
Fill in the blanks. All right. We had Sheamus, Jey Uso, Andrade.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jacob Fatu.
Yeah.
He was going to be kind of a force here. And then Ludwig Kaiser, who almost got the Santino Marella record of being in the ring for a whopping 2 seconds before my boy Penta just said bye-bye and eliminated him. And then Miz, and then if you want to lead us into 15, I mean, I won't say his name, just in case.
Bro, like when I say that I just screamed at my TV and I was like, yes, and I was like, say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. Yeah.
I was excited. I popped up also. There was a couple times I was on my feet at this Royal Rumble, and like I said, the first 5 great, and then when Joe Hendry came out, yeah, I definitely popped, and I was sitting there singing along for a good 5 minutes. London and Paris and Tokyo, like I was going crazy, man. So it was great. I thought it was good. He got a couple shots in, on some heavy hitters, including the person who entered right after him, which was the one and only tribal chief, Roman Reigns.
Which I was surprised. I was like, I at least thought he was gonna be like number 25
no,
and up.
at 60. No, you gotta make him earn something. And you still had a bunch of heavy hitters coming. Because after Reigns at 16, you had McIntyre at 17, Finn Balor, Shinsuke, Jey Uso.
Yeah.
I mean, these so you still have a lot of back end talent that you had to use, and you wanted to use Roman a lot. Make him, like I said, earn it, show people he can still take the long matches and do things like that. I think. And then and then one another note that I took that I forgot to mention about our boy Speed is when he went through the table or whatever at the end of the announce table.
Just
at one point they look at him and Cole just looks down at him and he goes, "Are you okay, sir?" And He's like, "No, he's not okay." But just the question, "Are you okay, sir?" Like, so sorry, I wrote that down. But then 21, where Alexa Bliss came in, the returning Alexa Bliss. At 21 in the men's rumble, we had another return, and it wasn't who I thought it was going to be. It was someone who I read about, forgot about, and then realized about a half hour before the rumble started. Oh, you know what? He might actually come back. And it was the one and only, the phenomenal one, AJ Styles. So they bring Bliss back at 21 in the women's rumble, and AJ Styles back at 21 here. Great job. Well done. Good to see him back. He hasn't been since, I think, like they said, November, October, that he's been out or whatever. But I thought you're great. And then you're looking at that back top 10 because you're still missing a bunch of heavy hitters.
Yeah.
So then I'll let you continue from there.
No. What I was gonna say was when Roman got in there and he was spearing and eliminating people so quickly, I wrote in my notes, is Roman the new Brock Lesnar? Because that's something that Brock Lesnar would have done had he, when he comes into rumbles like that.
Right. But I think they would have made Brock Lesnar. They made Brock Lesnar look more monstery,
Right.
more one sided.
Right.
Where Reigns took some beating. Like Reigns took a shot from Joe Hendry.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So they wouldn't have had Brock Lesnar take a shot from a visiting TNA superstar.
Yeah.
No way. Vince would not let that happen.
Would never. Yeah, would never. And then also I did not see Braun Breaker being the one to spear Roman. I did not see that coming.
I didn't see that coming, but the minute it happened, I did call what happened next, which was I'm like, oh well, then Roman's going to toss him.
Yeah,
because he gave him that spot. He gave him that spot to like, okay, you spear the ever loving wind out of me, and then I'm going to toss you over
the top. yeah. And what I appreciate about that was not only did he take the spear and then he eliminated Braun Breaker after the fact, but then he drops to the mat, like almost to say, like, yeah, no, that hurt. That spear really did hurt me.
Right.
But I still got the last laugh. It was a good way of telling that in the ring.
I agree. I agree. I thought that was very, very well done.
And then in my notes, that's where I put down, because by then I was like, wow, I realized that, Triple H has done just a great job in storytelling and just putting so many things. Like at that point in the Rumble, I was like, wow, this man's a genius.
No,
Why?
Because he's done a great job booking. He's done a great job just doing everything. Like it really is amazing what he's been able to pull off in the short time frame that he's been at the helm.
But something though, like side note though, but are we really surprised? Because I'm sorry, I don't watch NXT now, but wasn't NXT truly at the height and the most phenomenal it was when he was the one running it?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely, it was. I agree with you there. Absolutely. But it's just nice to see that he can do it with the main roster talent once he's been given the keys.
Yeah. Yeah. And then go ahead and announce number 22 because I made an observation about number 23 and 24.
22 was Braun Strowman.
Okay, Braun Strowman. I wasn't too happy about that one because the fact that you made Jacob look like you murdered him last week at Saturday Night's Main Event. Now you're back like nothing ever happened. I felt like it took away from that whole match and that whole storytelling to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess you could flip it and say, oh, but he's a monster. He could pick himself up pretty quickly.
I think that's what they were going for. I think they were going for because he is. It's not a. What is it in Rocky Screws? He's not a machine. He's a man. I think that's what they're trying to. They're like, he's not a man. He's a machine. He's a monster. So I think that's kind of the angle they were trying to play there. When they brought him out.
No. All right, so I'm gonna say number 23 and number 24, and I want to see if you pick this up. Right. Okay. So number 23 was John Cena.
Yep.
True popped. I was excited. I almost was on the verge of tears because the way he came out, he looked like he was about to cry, and he looked like when he put the towel up in front of the camera and like he's putting his head down. It's like, oh man, it hit me. This will be the last time I see him at a Rumble. You know what I mean? It hit me. So, but he comes out, awesome, cool stuff. And then number 24 is CM Punk.
Yep.
Right. Which again, like you said earlier, this is when the heavy hitters start coming out. So did you pick this up? 23 is associated with who?
Jordan.
The greatest basketball player, the GOAT, the person to ever do it.
Right.
In his line of work.
They've called Cena that before Michael Cole called him that.
Right. So now there's that connection, right? He's our Michael Jordan of our generation, right? So to speak.
Okay.
But then number 24, right? CM Punk.
Okay.
Right. Who was number 24 and along the lines of that same train of thought.
24.
Yeah, in basketball.
In basketball.
Yeah.
Was that Kobe? Was that Kobe after he changed from 8?
Yeah. Exactly. Because remember, he said the reason why he went to 24 in an interview, he said that because he's 1 point more better than Jordan, and that's why he went 24.
Okay.
So Punk gives that vibe of like, hey, I know you're the greatest, Cena, but don't forget, I'm the Kobe Bryant of your generation.
Okay.
So I felt like that was kind of like poetic.
Okay.
And once I picked that up, I was like, oh, Triple
Well
H,
done,
you
Hunter.
son
Well
of a
done.
gun.
Well done.
You son of a gun. You got me.
Yeah. I mean, that's what he got from it. And yeah, genius. Very well done.
Yeah. 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 And then go ahead. Just
then finish
spill out.
rounding it out. We got Seth Rollins, Dirty Dom, Sami
Yeah.
Zayn, Damian Priest, LA Knight, Logan Paul, number 30.
Yes.
And then to get to the end, just because I know we're already running at 50 minutes in a recap. Great spots at the end to finish everything off. Like CM Punk taking the opportunity to, like, because when they finally had that moment of Rollins and Reigns staring each other down, and you're like, oh yeah, it's finally gonna happen. They're gonna get into it. And they did. They just beating each other and slapping each other. Don't put your finger on me, blah blah blah. Like great storytelling this entire time. You know, Penta's first one, he was in there for a good 30, 45 minutes. Penta, you know, ran deep. This whole time you're watching Jey Uso, you're like, all right, Jay's still in there, Cena's still in there, and, you know, Priest taking out McIntyre just staring at him. Like, you had great storytelling down the end of this Royal Rumble, which was absolutely fantastic and kept everything captivating. And then to have that moment of when you're looking at Logan Paul, Jey Uso, CM Punk, John Cena, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns in the ring. And we're looking at the big four that you and I thought were going to be the final four here. And you see Rollins and Reigns get into it. And Punk comes over and just flips them both out. I was like, no, they're gonna stop it. They're gonna stop it. And then he put him over the top, and I was like, what? And I was like, okay, well then, Punk is going to Mania.
Yeah, it's exactly what I thought.
You know,
I screamed.
Like, what a move. What a move. I was very surprised, like, so just taken aback by just the swerve that was delivered in terms of, like, especially because you and I both thought Rollins was going to win. That was our choice.
Yeah.
And I think if you would have said to us, well, it's not going to be Rollins, I think me and you would have put Reigns probably maybe third, if not second, on our list. So very big swerve. Very.
And I love the way they did it, where Punk gets the ability to eliminate both of them, and then you get the smug jerk of Logan Paul be the one to get Punk out there. And then so here is my thought process at that point. I was like, there's no freaking way that Logan Paul, John Cena, and Jey Uso are the final three.
Yeah.
There's no way. Because then at that point, I instantly said to myself,
everything's at the window.
John's a good guy.
Everything's at the window.
John's a good guy. He's not going to put himself over.
Nope.
So he's going to put one of these guys over.
Yep.
And then once I saw that, and then I saw Logan go, I was like, no.
You know.
I was like, no way, Jay's gonna do it.
Because to your point, it was so quick that it happened, because Punk comes over and he dumps Rollins and Reigns, and you have that second to think, okay, Punk's winning the Rumble, and within 3 seconds of that thought coming through your head, here comes Logan Paul to toss out CM Punk. So now your thought process has completely changed. And I agree with you, where it's Cena's he's gonna put one of these guys over. Who is it going to be?
Right.
Is it time? And then to your point, once again, when I saw Logan go over, it's Jey Uso's time. It's Jey Uso, because once again, you and I both said it. Cena is advertised for the Elimination Chamber. And if they're going to do it at Mania, then the best way to do it is to have him win the Elimination Chamber.
Right.
Assuming they don't do it at SummerSlam and they give him Money in the Bank or something like that, whatever.
Right.
But yeah,
right.
you knew he was going to put one of these young kids over, and I did not think that Hunter would do it. Did not. But once Paul went out, I was like, wow, it's main event Jey Uso's time. And props to Jey Uso, man. I did not see that coming. And once again, I'm up on my feet the minute it was those final three, and I'm pacing around my basement, man. And I was just like, wow, all the craziness that's going on right now. This is sick. Like, it was, wow. Yeah.
So here's what I want to say about that, right? You are absolutely right in the sense of like, I was up on my feet and I was like, no way. Is it going to be Jay? And I was me too. I screamed like, my wife is sleeping. Like, I don't care. But what hit me was the fact that look how amazing the roster is for being able to execute, but not only how we keep singing Triple H's praises, but look how he flooded tonight's men's Rumble, with so many storylines that he distracted us by storytelling.
Right.
He distracted us by like everybody's beefs, everybody's problems, everybody's things,
right,
to kind of fog up the swerve, the ultimate swerve of making Logan Paul or Jey Uso be one of the folks that were going to win the Rumble, and then obviously we get to Jey winning. But the real, I told you before, like the real winner here is Triple H.
Yeah.
The guy knows what he's doing, and he's one of those like professionals. Like, how there's like athletes that could be incredible athletes, but they're terrible coaches, or they're terrible players, but they're amazing coaches. This guy is both.
Yeah.
He was one of the greats to do it in the ring.
Absolutely.
But he's probably one of the greatest storytellers to ever do it. In my mind, he is greater than Vince McMahon at this point.
He in such a small time frame, we're seeing so much being done that, yeah, I agree with you. And I mean, I know that kind of feels almost blasphemous and disrespectful, but in what he's given us so far, I mean, it's just been great. It's been absolutely fantastic.
No, I'm okay with it.
This Rumble was,
I don't think it's blasphemous at all.
This Rumble was one of the well, to wrestling purists and things of that nature.
Yeah.
But this Rumble was I mean, top 5, top 3, maybe possibly number 1 best Rumble, like, just because of the swerve job and because of the storytelling and everything. I mean, this Rumble, I give this Rumble a 10. Like, the match, I give a 10. I give a 10 to the match. Is unbelievable, amazingly done. A bunch of storylines told, very well done. Once again, the shock of Jey Uso doing it and winning is, it's great. It's awesome. So
so side note there, right? Jey Uso was favored to win. He was the 6th person to be favored to win when it comes to betting odds.
Oh, really?
So like, look at that tremendous swerve, right? Like, usually it's the top 3 people. It's like, oh, if it's not first, it's the 2nd place winner. You know what I mean? And the fact that he was chosen 6th to be the winner is ridiculous when it comes to betting. But here's the other part that makes this brilliant from a business standpoint, from a product standpoint, and from the road to WrestleMania standpoint, right? Now you have no choice but to watch what's going to happen from this point forward, because we thought we knew what was going to happen at WrestleMania. We thought we knew who was going to be the main event. We thought all of this, and now we have to sit here and watch how all these people find their way to these matches in WrestleMania, because as of now, the only one that's probably guaranteed at this point is Jey Uso versus Gunther.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
Oh, well, maybe Charlotte and Tiffy, because we know.
Oh, yeah, Charlotte. Like that. Well, I mean, you're going to have the Elimination Chamber to figure out who's going up against Cody.
Right.
And then, which once again, I don't think it'll be Cena.
Yeah, no.
But and then some also for you'll have to figure out you'll figure out Rhea there, probably as well. But no, the minute I saw it, I was like, it's got to be Gunther. Like, it has to be Gunther. Like, that's just makes sense. But yeah, let's see how the story tells, because who's it gonna be up against Cody? Like, who?
Yeah.
Very New Day. Who? But yeah, no, it should be great. I mean, because you could put anyone there. You could put Reigns for volume, for number, WrestleMania number 3. You could put Rollins there as, hey, it's my turn. You can put Punk there, and you can still somehow figure out a swerve angle with, maybe it is Rollins, and then, or maybe it is Reigns rather, and then Punk is like, hey, Paul, you owe me a favor, triple threat match, something like that, like you said the other day, things like that. So yeah, definitely going to be interesting to see how they get to that match.
Yeah, so we have no choice but to stick around and watch until WrestleMania. But
yeah, try to get me to stop watching. Try.
but I will say this though, right? I know we both our actual picks didn't go through, but I'll give myself half a point for this one because Jay was my wishful thinking winner.
Well, but it's like I said, everybody wanted Jay to win. Like I said, I wanted Jay to
but
win
you
too.
picked Kofi.
Well, yeah, I said I wanted Jay to win too, but I figured I could dig a little deeper because everybody wanted Jay to win.
Yeah, no, you wanted Kofi Kingston. He wasn't even there.
I know he wasn't in there. I also picked Randy Orton and Jade Cargill to possibly do something, and they weren't there either. So
yeah, you're right.
Like, but no, but that's because like I said, that's why when it happened, I was like, oh shit. Hey, but yeah, fine. Give yourself half a point. Fine. Give yourself half a point. Actually, you know what? Give yourself a quarter of a point because we picked 4 winners.
Yeah, I guess.
Either way, give yourself 3/4. You don't get a full point, which means I still win. I mean, you can give yourself 0.99999 of the point.
Still, it wouldn't matter.
Change the fact that I'm right again.
There you go.
It's 2 in a row. Saturday's main event and the Rumble. I got them both.
So final grade for the whole Royal Rumble. You sticking with the 10?
For the whole Rumble, I can't give it a 10. Just because of the Motor City Machines Gun, like I said, that was like I said. So I'm gonna go overall 9.5, somewhere there.
Yeah.
Very, very fucking like 9.5.
9.5. I agree.
9.5. 9.5. Very, like, really, really good, really fucking good pay-per-view. Really good pay-per-view. 9.5.
So good, I might even watch it again tomorrow.
I was gonna say I'm gonna find another moment to try and run it back, and I definitely want to rewatch that Cody Kevin Owens match again because that shit was gangster. So I definitely want to give that. But yeah, 9.5, and now I'm beyond looking forward to Monday. Like, I cannot wait till Monday. Like, as soon as I'm working Monday night. As soon as I get home, I'm turning. Because I noticed this also when you and I were talking about the Raw on Netflix, and you kept saying you were annoyed by the commercial breaks. Mm-hmm. I haven't been watching it live, so when I watch it, there are no commercial breaks.
Oh,
they cut and then they go right to the next thing. They might throw like one commercial of like WrestleMania is coming up or whatever, cha. But other than that, they don't have it. So, but yeah, no. As soon as I get home, I can't wait to watch that on Monday because it's gonna be awesome.
Well, that wraps up our 2025 Royal Rumble review.
Yeah, I mean, we've been spouting for an hour plus about this one,
but I ain't mad at it, bro.
No,
I ain't mad.
No, we had to put everything on the table.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna watch it again.
I'm definitely gonna watch it again. It'll be great.
But as always, we want to take this opportunity to truly thank everyone that takes a moment out of their day to give us a listen. And we usually do this at the beginning, but I saved it for the end because I think you might get a kick out of this.
Okay.
But one of our loyal listeners has reached out and said to me personally, so that's why I figured you would enjoy this.
Okay.
They said, the show is fantastic, but Eddie, you need to let Ariel speak more.
I think we're good. I don't mind you. I don't mind you driving. I'm good being a being a passenger over here for a little while. It's good. Trust me, because if I start yapping, people will get tired of hearing this voice. So don't worry about it. You drive, my man. I'm good. Trust me, if I feel I have to take over a conversation, I'll force my way into it. Don't you worry. But thank you to that listener. I appreciate to one of our loyal listeners for the want to hear my voice a little more. Thank you very much. It's mighty kind of you. But you drive, brother. I'm good. Thank you. No, thank you.
Yeah. No. I thought that was hysterical, and I was like, I don't know if you picked that up, but hey, we receive constructive criticism here very well, and that's why I did my best to I even mute myself, right? I because I figured out my mute button. I was like, you know what? When Ariel talks, I'm just gonna mute myself. So that way, even if I spit something out, nobody hears me. So
nobody got it. Right. I should do that myself.
Yeah. No, but truly, everyone, thank you so much for the support, the love, the feedback.
Sincerely, thank you very, very much.
We are so excited to continue, and the show is only going to get better. There's only one way from here, and it's up. And we're looking forward to taking everyone along this ride with us. So thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. We really, truly do appreciate it. From the bottom of our hearts. Thank you.
Absolutely. So, all right, Primo, you know what to do.
Well, thank you, everybody. We really appreciate y'all, and we'll see you when we see you.
We'll see you when we see you. Con amor. Bye.
Deuces.